One worshipped natural entities. It is permitted to derive benefit from anything that has not been manipulated by man, or that was not made by man, even though it was worshipped as a deity. Therefore, it is permitted to benefit from mountains, hills, trees, provided they were planted originally with the intent of harvesting their fruit, springs which provide water for many people and animals, despite their having been worshipped by pagans. It is permitted to partake of fruits that were worshipped in the place where they grow and to partake of such an animal. Needless to say, it is permitted to partake of an animal that was set aside for the purpose of idol worship. It is permitted regardless of whether it was set aside to be worshipped or to be sacrificed to another deity. When do the above statements permitting the use of an animal apply? When a deed involving it was not committed for the sake of idol worship. If, however, any deed whatsoever was committed involving it, it is forbidden. For example, one cut one of its signs for the sake of an idol. Should one exchange it for an idol, it is forbidden. Similarly, it is forbidden if it was exchanged for an article that was itself exchanged for an idol, since the latter article is considered to be payment for an idol. When does the above apply? Regarding one's own animal. If, however, one slaughtered a colleague's animal for the sake of a false deity or exchanged it for an idol, it does not become forbidden, because a person cannot cause an article that does not belong to him to become forbidden. When a person bows down to virgin earth, he does not cause it to become forbidden. If he digs pits, channels, and caverns in it for the sake of a false deity, it becomes forbidden. 2. Bowing down to natural elements. When a person bows down to water which was lifted up by a wave, he does not cause the water to become forbidden. If, however, he picked water up with his hands and bowed down to it, it becomes forbidden. If rocks which had slid down from a mountain were worshipped in the place where they landed, they are permitted, since they were not manipulated by man. 3. Bricks, eggs, and gourds. When a Jew stands a brick up with the intention of bowing down to it, but does not bow down to it, and then a Gentile comes and bows down to it, benefit from the brick becomes forbidden, because standing it up is considered to be a deed. Similarly, if a Jew stands an egg up and a Gentile comes and bows down to it, it becomes forbidden. If one cuts off a gourd or the like and bows down to it, it is forbidden. Even when one bows down to only half the gourd, and the other half is still attached to it, it is forbidden because of the doubt involved. Perhaps the second half is considered to be a handle for the half which was worshipped. It is forbidden to benefit from a tree which was planted for the purpose of being worshipped. This is the Asherah that the Torah mentions. When a tree which had been planted previously was pruned and carved for the sake of idol worship, even if it was extended or a growth was grafted onto the trunk of the tree and branches grew, one must cut off these branches, and benefit from them is forbidden. The remainder of the tree, however, is permitted. Similarly, when a person bows down to a tree, even though the tree itself is not forbidden, it is forbidden to benefit from all the branches, leaves, sprouts, and fruits which it produces during the time it is worshipped. When Gentiles guard the fruits of a tree and say that they are designated to be used to make alcoholic beverages for a particular pagan temple, and the fruits are used for alcoholic beverages which are drunk on their pagan holidays, it is forbidden to benefit from this tree. This is the ritual associated with an Asherah. Accordingly, we can assume that the tree is an Asherah, whose fruits will be used for such purposes. For idols under trees and in buildings, the following rules apply to a tree under which a false deity was placed. It is forbidden to benefit from it as long as the deity is located under it. When it is removed, we are permitted to benefit from the tree, since the tree itself is not the entity which was worshipped. When a Gentile constructs a building with the intention that the building itself be worshipped, and, similarly, when a person bows down to a building that has already been constructed, they become forbidden. When a building which had already been constructed was plastered and embellished for the sake of worship to the extent that it is considered to be a new entity, one must remove all the new additions, and it is forbidden to benefit from them, since they were made with the intention of being worshipped. It is, however, permitted to benefit from the remainder of the building. If one placed an idol within a house, it is forbidden to benefit from the house while the idol is located in it. When it is removed, the house becomes permitted. Similarly, it is forbidden to benefit from a stone which was hewn from a mountain with the intention that it be worshipped. If it had already been hewn out, but was adorned and embellished with the intention that it be worshipped, even if the stone itself was adorned and decorated and, needless to say, if it was embellished with an adornment added to it, one must remove all the new additions, and it is forbidden to benefit from them, since they were made with the intention of being worshipped. It is, however, permitted to benefit from the remainder of the stone. 5 stones used as bases for idols. A stone on which an idol is placed is forbidden as long as the idol is upon it. Once the idol is removed, it is permitted. When a person's house, which is located next to a shrine of an idol, falls, it is forbidden for him to rebuild it. What must he do? He must move the wall within his own 4 cubits and then rebuild it. The empty space must be filled with thorns or feces, so that it not be left free for the sake of the shrine of the idol. If the wall belonged jointly to both a private individual and an idol, it should be considered as belonging to them equally. It is permitted to benefit from his half. The half belonging to the idol, however, is forbidden. Similarly, it is forbidden to benefit from all the wall's stones, beams, and earth. 6. Destruction of false deities. How must one destroy a false deity and the other entities which are forbidden on its account, e.g., its accessories and offerings? One must grind them and scatter the dust in the wind, or burn them and deposit the ashes in the Dead Sea. 7. Coatings on worshipped objects. Although, as mentioned above, an entity which cannot be manipulated by man, e.g., a mountain, animal, or tree, even when worship remains permitted, it is forbidden to benefit from its coatings. A person who derives any benefit from them whatsoever is liable for lashes, as Deuteronomy 7 verse 25 states, "Do not desire the silver and gold which are upon them." Any coating of a false deity is considered to be one of its accessories. 8. Gentile nullification of deities. It is permitted to benefit from a false deity belonging to a Gentile whose deification was nullified by Gentiles before it entered the possession of a Jew, as Deuteronomy 8 states, "You must burn the statues of their gods with fire." This command applies only if they are treated as gods when they enter our possession. If, however, their deification was nullified, they are permitted. 9. Nullification by Jews and Gentiles. A false deity belonging to a Jew can never be nullified. Even if he owns it in partnership with a Gentile, its nullification is of no consequence. Rather, it is forbidden to benefit from it forever, and it must be entombed. Similarly, when a false deity belonging to a Gentile enters the possession of a Jew, and then is nullified by a Gentile, the nullification is of no consequence, and it is forbidden to benefit from it forever. A Jew cannot nullify a false deity that is in the possession of a Gentile, even with his permission. A Gentile who is a minor or intellectually or emotionally compromised cannot nullify a false deity. When a Gentile is forced to nullify a false deity, whether it belongs to him or to other Gentiles, even when he is forced to do so by Jews, the nullification is of consequence. The Gentile who nullifies idol worship must himself be an idolater. If he is not an idolater, his nullification is of no consequence. When a Gentile nullifies a false deity, he also nullifies the connection to idol worship of its accessories. When he nullifies the connection to idol worship of its accessories, it is permitted to benefit from the accessories. The deity itself, however, remains forbidden until it is nullified. The connection to idol worship of an object that was brought to an idol as an offering can never be nullified. 10. How to nullify an idol. How is an idol nullified? When one cuts off the tip of its nose, the tip of its ear, or the tip of its finger, smooths out its face, even though none of its substance was destroyed, or sells it to a Jewish jeweler, it is nullified. If, however, one gave it as security for a loan, sold it to a Gentile, sold it to a Jew who is not a jeweler, left it after it was covered by fallen articles without removing them, did not demand its return after it was stolen by thieves, spat in its face, urinated upon it, dragged it in mud, or threw feces upon it, it is not nullified. 11. Abandoned or broken idols. When a false deity was abandoned by its worshippers in a time of peace, it is apparent that they nullified it. Hence, benefit may be derived from it. If it was abandoned in a time of war, it is forbidden. The only reason they abandoned it was because of the war. When a false deity becomes broken in the course of nature, it is forbidden to benefit from its broken pieces until they have been nullified. Accordingly, when a person finds broken pieces of an idol, he must regard them as forbidden, lest the Gentiles have not nullified them. The following principles apply to an idol which comes in pieces. If it could be reassembled by an ordinary person, each piece must be nullified individually. If an ordinary person could not reassemble it, once one has nullified one of its limbs, all of them are nullified. 12 damaged altars and the nullification of an Asherah. Though an altar for idol worship has been damaged, it is still forbidden to benefit from it until the majority of it has been destroyed by Gentiles. A platform which has been damaged is permitted. What is considered a platform and what an altar? A platform consists of a single stone, an altar of many stones. How are the stones of Marculus nullified? When one constructs a building from them, or uses them to pave the roads, or the like, it is permitted to benefit from them. How is an Asherah nullified? When one pulls off a leaf, cuts off a branch, takes a staff or a scepter from it, or planes off its sides in a manner which does not benefit it, it is nullified. When one planes its sides in a manner which benefits it, it is forbidden, but its shavings are permitted. If the sides of an Asherah which belongs to a Jew are planed off, both it and its shavings are forbidden forever, regardless of whether it was planed for its benefit or not, because a false deity belonging to a Jew can never be nullified.